Magnolia Gods, Chapter 1, Reading 3. These old P-47 fighters, jugs the Army Air Force used to call them. Well, they could do some damage if you got in front of them wing guns, said the tobacco-chewing mechanic. Why'd they call them jugs? Asked Jeremy. Short for juggernaut, because of the huge size of the plane with that big radial out front, answered the mechanic with a spit. Yeah, but that German gunner knew his stuff too, said the third mechanic, a thin man who did not talk much, but who tended to make remarks that ended discussions. Well, you'll get a chance to tell him that at the unveiling, said Mike. We found him. He's a retired businessman in Germany. He's willing to fly to Delaware and take a look. Believe it or not, he's the only survivor from the submarine crew. His boat escaped the P-47, but got sunk in the English Channel a few weeks later. The unveiling is going to be a great day, said Jeremy. Things are finally going to change around here. We've all worked hard. We have a lot to be happy about, grinned Mike. Mike hid his worry well. No onlooker could see his constant concern about the huge museum debt. Visitors could not spot his fear that if something did not work out with the strategy of restoring the ship, he might lose the museum and let down his father, who had started the facility. The museum had been sponsored during the 60s by Aviatrix and several other aviation foundations, which had started a nationwide drive to help museums preserve aviation history. Mike's father, a decorated war veteran, was lucky enough to hook on to this brotherhood of foundations and to get some of the money through contacts with his old flying comrades. Mike had inherited the museum, lock, stock, and aircraft from his father. The museum, unfortunately, had never made money and was deeply in debt. He took over, however, and with careful planning, building up the staff with hires like Jeremy, and conceiving of the salvage and exhibiting of the P-47 as an attraction, was gradually heading towards black numbers. With luck, the exhibit would bring in enough money over the next few months. At the same time, the quality of the research on the aircraft restoration would put the museum on fine footing, both with the consumer and with the professional community. More visitors and more quality work meant more success. Read that, new grants for research in the museum world. He was proud of what he had done. He'd assembled the money and the staff to make his and his father's dream come true. A tantalizing goal this year was accreditation in the prestigious Association of Aviation Museums, which only came with a high number of paying consumer visitors, a strong balance sheet, and with professionalism in the staff and management. He wanted to increase the members of the board, too. The board held people his father had invited, including the museum's banker and the old family friend, Tim O'Brien, who helped the museum get funds from Aviatrix. Mike sat on the board, of course, and Jeremy would sit in on technical issues. More board members, including women and minorities, especially wealthy ones from the community who would donate funding, would come with success. Mike knew the direction the museum had to climb, and he was determined to get there. The thin mechanic, who was adjusting the hoist supports, dropped his large steel wrench, and the noise clanged against the cavernous walls of the hangar. Mike's secretary, Gladys, called from the side door. "Telephone, Mike."